All right. We are back again with another episode. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning into the last one. Chris, shouts out to you. Thank you for hopping on. I am Silk Sway, host of the Owner's Manual. But first, I want to say shouts outs to Monica, the CEO behind Established at Birth, a clothing brand that's by my people. This is one of my favorite hoodies right now, and we're doing a hoodie competition. And the details are coming. But if you have a fire brand local that wants to be on the podcast, please drop his or her name in the comments below. We'd love to give them a shout out and a feature. And moving on, today I am with the legendary Austin. How you doing, man?
What's
Of FLOS.
Appreciate you.
Man.
Thanks for having me on today.
No, I appreciate it. It was long awaited, and the funny thing is I told you, like, like way back when, I'm like, all right, like, mid August, like,
Yeah.
we gonna find it. You know what I'm saying? Here we are, literally. So, little bit of background. I think it was back in 2023. I had the pleasure of DJing the grand opening of a dispensary in Flint called Flower of Life that Austin helped open. And since then, I've made a lot of connections. Shouts out Slim, shouts out Pam and Patty from Pink Society. Y'all met y'all all at Flower of Life. So, but like, tell us more about yourself in the background, because you were in cannabis way before, that. So,
First dove into cannabis during the med days. I got my med card in 2013. Grew up with a dad in law enforcement, so I had to be a law-abiding citizen and just be transparent with my dad and his career and protect myself. Made it very known, like, Dad, I'm a consumer, and I think I want to pursue cannabis as like a future, a career. My passion spiked for cannabis right around 18.
Yeah. And what was that conversation like when you told him, like, you want to pursue a career in something like this?
It was very short words, but he respected the fact that I went about it in the smartest way possible.
Yeah.
By protecting myself, getting the concealed safety kit that can lock up, keeping all my product not accessible or within arm's reach. So then that way, if I ever had any interactions or
right,
I was always protected.
So we had the weed in the trunk.
We kept the weed in the trunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like a crazy story, like, where you used to hide weed? I used to hide weed in my deodorant. I used to take the stick out and put the weed in, and then put the deodorant stick back in.
Yeah.
That was me.
So freshman year of college, I didn't necessarily sell weed at that time, but
Hey.
I helped connect people who needed flower.
Yeah.
So I would go class to class after I'd collect up, and I remember putting it in like an empty Gatorade bottle and twisting the cap on, and like having a sandwich baggie on the inside, and like twisting it enough to where, when I grab that bag, I can pull it right out. I'm thinking it's smell proof, but at the same time, I know I'm reeking weed in class.
Yeah. Man, those med days were special though, huh?
Those med days were super special. I was the kid that, came from Southeast Michigan, where Ann Arbor was like 30 minutes, 40 minutes from my home and house, and Central Michigan, where I went, my alma mater, Fire Up Chips. They didn't yet have any provision centers. There wasn't anything in Lenawee County where I was from. So I either had to stop in Ann Arbor and go out of my way.
Right.
But Lansing was the trip, man. Lansing was the original Green Mile.
You hear me. So stop playing.
I remember there was like 15, 16-inch shops just like within 2-mile radius of each other, and stop at this one, stop at that one, and I would grab a little bit of each thing. You'd always get hooked up in the early med days. And it's crazy how that transitioned to the recreational of just like people receiving free product. But
that part, I will say shouts out Danny Trevino, because like when I got introduced to the med market, he had a bunch of, he he had a bunch of farmers markets, and it made me feel like a kid in a candy shop because I really got to talk and like connect to the caregivers and stuff like that, and they could really tell me about the plant. You know what I'm saying? And you could buy like 2 gram joints, and it was just so cool. But also there was times where like you just drive by and you just see SWAT in that motherfucker. You see everybody, on the curb, handcuffs, and the state trooper just bringing out plants, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not going there today. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I got to get it somewhere else, but also drive a little bit further, you'll get there. You know what I'm saying? And also too, like that was back in the day, but even still in today's time, like in a good shop, like I want to get that feel like I am a kid in a candy. I want to feel so overwhelmed where I'm like, oh man, like y'all got so much good shit. Like I don't even know where to start. And Third Eye Craft Affair, they be doing those like I don't know, like quarterly events in Lansing, and then they even like go around. They've done them in like Saline, Ann Arbor, here a couple times, but like they still bring that feel, where it's just like caregiver, and they all got some fire shit. But now it's like, now we're brands, you know what I'm saying? Now it's like everybody, they got, their plug, and you know what I'm saying, that Chicago, Ohio, like moving, you know what I'm saying? And shouts out to everybody just providing accessible, organics to medical patients, because I think that's really what it's all about. But so going back to 18, you made that choice of, all right, I'm gonna take this professionally. Where was the first step of your professional career in cannabis at?
Yeah, it didn't happen immediately.
Uh-huh.
Started just after my college had wrapped up. It was actually my mentor professor from Central Michigan University who had kind of just, taken keen to me and could see that I was a passionate individual. At this time, I was representing Gypsy Vodka.
Okay.
High Five Spirits up north of Petoskey, Michigan.
Hey, no.
Shout out to those guys, 2 twin brothers, Kaznowski family. They've definitely been a part of my journey. I'm Gypsy till I die. But part of that connection that I had made with my mentor professor was I was this senior representing this Michigan company, wearing this Gypsy Vodka shirt, rocking this headband, living the lifestyle. And during our first class, he's telling us his story, he's telling us his background, mentions that he had opened some Little Caesars along the Florida Gulf Coast area. And I was like, oh man, this guy knows the Illich family. Little Caesars arena's coming on. Like, this is a great opportunity to get like an in and connection with my professor, who probably knows those guys and couldn't get us into that arena, or at least an introduction to where I can make the presentation and pitch and see if we get picked up. So he could see that I was a hustler from the beginning. We established a really good relationship, and then towards the end of like the semester is when he was opening up with me about his future goals and plans, and it was to join the newly regulated cannabis industry.
Nice.
He had piqued my level of interest so high that I followed him after graduation. We attended things like the annexation of a property in Chesaning. We were one of the first Class C license to get awarded. It was unfortunately a project that never came to fruition, but at this point, I was so eager and so excited to just like immerse myself in the cannabis space. Having been a med patient, now I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be one of the first people in this. That's when, with that project not coming to fruition, I had a family real young. I had to get into car sales just to pay the bills and wait for that next opportunity to come. I actually got hired as a retail sales manager at Skymint in Flint, where I had been a founding member, or one of the people who had opened and had a hand in that store.
Yeah.
That was where I began my cannabis journey and finally landed. But this was over a year's time of me believing that this project or this dream was going to happen for me.
Like, and through all the turbulence and the ups and downs and stuff like that, when you first got into this retail space, did you feel like a sense of like belonging, or like, you know what, like this is about time, like this is what we talked about, like manifested and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So I was just so excited to join the industry. I was miserable selling cars. I knew that I wanted to do more than that.
Yeah.
I never considered myself a car person by any means. I was really hard on myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I just don't want to be this car guy. I kind of live with this stigma. The cannabis industry, it gave me purpose.
Yeah.
It brought me fulfillment. It brought me excitement. And that was my why. That was my motivating factor. That's what got me to get up every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely important in today's time to remember your why, regardless of like what you do, because shit is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's like I don't want to get out of bed today, but it's like you got to. Like you said, having a family young. I see you got the tattoos right here. That's
my 3 babies.
right,
Yep.
and like that's more than enough. I fucking love it. So after SkyMint, how long did you work there?
I was at SkyMint for almost a year's time.
Okay.
Transitioned from SkyMint to New Standard. Before I was out in Hazel Park.
Mm-hmm.
I had spent some time out in Sand Lake where
Yeah.
my focus was to train their new staff and open their second store and get them really just in tune with metric and all the compliance and the do's and the don'ts of this can risk
Yeah.
your establishment staying open or not. So being that I came from SkyMint, had this new store opening experience, that was kind of part of my welcoming and bringing on with New Standard was and that was something that I personally loved.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody more excited than individuals that get to like open a store
Right.
and be like founding mothers and fathers, as you say you would. Getting the opportunity to do that. There's just such a huge sense of pride getting to start something.
What were some of the do's and don'ts you learned from SkyMint that you took to New Standard at that time?
Yeah. Really just basic compliance knowledge.
Yeah.
There was folks that you just weren't certain that you can't consume on the ground. You can't bring like moon rocks in from a customer who's hooking it up to you.
Right.
Even if you're friends with them, like you can't bring any product inside the building that isn't tracked and regulated.
The real fundamentals.
Yeah, we're in weed and this is fun. But
Yeah.
like, you had to be careful. Everything had to be tracked. You had to do it for the cameras. 'Cause,
Yeah.
if anything were to ever be questioned or out of the norm, and also just like the inventory auditing, making sure that there's no internal theft and people are honest
And like doing your due diligence to make sure that you can control what you control, but also there's so much shit that you can't control that might fall on you in the sense of compliance and shit like that. But it's so funny because I was in a store in Flint, and somebody just came with a big ass bag of weed one time just trying to sell it, and I'm selling chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Like on my actual J, go, what you got? And I'm like, bro, I don't got nothing like what you got. Trust me. Like, also, like, I felt so bad too because I'm asking for the people, that make this transaction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't want to bring anybody out and get them implicated in something. I'm just like, this is just all bad. This is just all bad. And so like making sure like everybody know, not even just your employees, like everybody, like, hey, like y'all about to get us cooked, man. Y'all about to get us, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
About to pay some fine just because, like we're not aware. But, we've come a long way since then. I feel like people, understand the low key, the corporate bureaucracy of how shit has to go through, who you really got to talk to, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause even if you do sales, like, I love like the bootstraps, hopping in the whip, getting the menus out and being like, yo, like, hey, where's that motherfucking buyer at, nigga? Hey, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Here's the decision making.
yeah, and there's so many ways to do it, but also like it don't work all the time. You can't do that.
It's more than that. You've got to connect with every individual that
Exactly,
you see, the receptionist, the customers coming in, and that's just one of the things too that like I'm very thoughtful and considerate of just the people around me because I'm a visitor, and they got a customer coming in and they might be a patient, so I'm not trying to take their time. I'm always letting that customer go in, even if I came in that door first. I'm saying, no, you can check them in.
Yeah.
I'll speak with you after you get them onto the sales floor, just because I may not be there for the same reason, and I'm trying to connect and just showcase my product and get my story across effectively.
No, 1,000%. And like you said, there's so much more to it. Like, and you got to cover all the bases. And it's so easy to cut corners, but also it's like that one thing that you be like, you might feel like you might not need to do in a certain situation might be the difference maker. And so it's like, oh, as I saw this and I thought I should respond because I know y'all get my emails.
Yeah,
Like,
right,
I know
right.
y'all. It's just that time when when it all trickles down. But
Timing's essential.
all right, before we get too into it, like we definitely gotta light something up.
Absolutely.
And
I prepared a few things for us.
oh, you definitely well procured a couple. So pick one up and tell me like what decisions went into the ingredients of this vessel.
Yeah, yeah. So I said we're gonna go with the biggest one first, right?
Hey, no.
This right here is our jelly tree.
Okay.
Jelly tree is a part of the next drop. Super excited about it. We've got a media video dropping too to support our retail partners with this because it's more than just selling the product. It's maintaining that sell-through rate, building the excitement and the awareness for the product, hyping up the strain, and explaining those flavor tones. So this jelly tree is gelinade crossed with lemon tree. Really excited for anybody who has the opportunity to pick it up. It's just super beautiful on its look between its purple hues. The nose kind of gives like a Tropicana, but it's a little bit sweeter. Got a little bit of a spice background to it. Got some candy presence there as well. And then I picked up some rosin of yours over there on the table. What did you grab there at the store? What was that?
Oh man, let me see for a minute. But definitely grabbed some Eastside Alchemy. Had to do the Matty B stackers and shouts out Nature's Remedy. I definitely fuck with y'all. I like the PG disposable hash rosin pens, and then they definitely got a decent selection of FLOS there
Those
as
candles.
well. But I went with the pinkies because, truth be told, the Friday movies and the Rush Hour movies are my favorite trilogies ever made. So I saw pinkies and it just, I was like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it just had to be it, like it was like, yeah.
Spoke to you.
Yeah, and I was stuck in between Project X and something else in the pinkies, and I'm so indecisive sometimes to where like
Peakies in the brain.
right, it's like it was a moment where I'm like, all right, I just got to think of like the funniest fact and just go with it, and that's literally why I went with it. But I mean, when I smelt it, the terps were crazy. Like, it's definitely something. It's a special occasion hash, so like, don't ask to smoke it with me because I'm gatekeeping the fuck out this shit. This shit is straight. No, I'm just playing. Definitely pull up, smoking with me.
Shout out Eastside Alchemy. Shout out Johnny Trees.
Yes.
Saying one of the most consistent rosin brands in the state of Michigan.
Definitely, and it's worth the penny too. I don't say that a lot because I'm cheap, but no, definitely worth it. And I'm always happy when I get it too. Like I'm always like I'm always like scraping it out. Like all right, rationing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate when I get to the bottom of the puck and for me it's like it's literally up there with like eating the last slice of pizza.
Yeah,
it's right there.
Facts.
It is
Delicacy.
tough. I'm like, damn.
I want to savor the flavor.
Man.
So we've got the pinkies donut complemented with FLOS Cannabis Jelly Tree on our next drop. I light with matches personally. It's respect to the quality. It's a cleaner burn without those gases and those butanes. You will never see me light with a lighter. I will hold my joint, donut, whatever, until I've got the proper lighting.
Conditions like if it's outside and it's too windy, you're not doing it. Not even gonna use a lighter.
Use my coat. I'm
Just
gonna use my head.
bow. You
We're
gonna
find a way. There's a will. There's a way.
I love that. I love that. I'm definitely one like when I first pack a fresh bowl, I do gotta use a match. Thank you.
Great boss.
Coming from the Met market, you've seen so many different ways to consume this great plant. What do you think, from your point of view, is the best way to consume cannabis? Like, what's your favorite vessel? Is it the J?
Absolutely, 110%.
Why is that?
I'm a big papers guy, like Slim, fuck blunts, sorry. But to each their own. But I'm all about that flavor transition. I QC everything, no matter where I've been at. I have to properly make sure that this is smoking. I got to see what the expression is on it. I'm a firm believer that like facts tell, stories sell, and if I don't have a story to tell my own, or the experience of the consumption, even if it's the same flavor, it could be a different round, it might just have a different production. So I personally, I try everything rolled up in a joint, a little over a 1 gram joint, sometimes 2 gram cannon, depending. From there, I like to pack a bowl of it, just kind of see how it hits in like a clean water pipe. The cleanliness there is essential. I use a mini Ripperton is what I call it. They say the more room that smoke has to travel through, the more flavor and terpenes that it uses or loses.
It loses. Okay.
So that's where smaller piece maximizes more flavor. It's easier to keep clean. But then on the other side of it too, you get a different production on the flavor tones that come through. It's the same thing that they talk, about these rolling competitions and the combustion and the grind and the fineness.
Yeah.
It all kind of equates to how it comes through on the consumption. So, something might taste better in a 1 gram than a 2 gram, maybe vice versa. It's not very often that you have a flower that tastes better in a bong than it does a joint, but
You said not very often.
not very often.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I would just equate that to like the terpenes, because every flavor, is going to be reactive or maximized at different heating elements and temperatures, and it's just like why a properly cooled dab, you're really getting all of those cannabinoids and the full flavor expression.
That's very interesting because I know ball, but I don't know how to articulate sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And then in my process to try weed and like flavor test it, you know what I'm saying? I throw it in the bong to kind of test the quality of high, and I know I have a bigger bong, and I noticed that I'm like, I don't really taste it too much unless I like rig up my actual rig that I use for concentrate. Shouts out to Future Glass Art. He sold me a Ben Wallace piece way back in the day before Rare went under, and then I've been using that piece just for taste testing because I come from not having nice things. That's probably one of the nicest things I got. So that does not leave the crib. And it's like, all right, part of my session. But when I want to taste the actual weed, I definitely got to roll something up in some papers. You know what I'm saying? The concentrate, the Puffco gets like priority a little bit. But then when I take it back home to the Ben Wallace piece, I got to, get the temperature just right because those hits be crazy. I be doing stupid stuff like.
Right. It's all about maximizing that flavor.
Yes, exactly.
It's part of the selection too. It's like when you're at the store, all you want is what you're looking at and what you're smelling to equate and transition. There's a lot of show and tell bud out there.
So, as for someone that doesn't really smoke too much hash holes, is it like? It's wrong to ash, right? You're not supposed to ash?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You're supposed to let that ash just fall off on its own.
Okay, so let that ash fall on its own. Is there any other important tips to either rolling or smoking a hash hole that you would, give to the owner's manual?
Just try to focus on that even burn. I mean, from the very beginning on how you light it, you just want it to be as even as possible.
Right.
So I may not draw it right away, and you don't want to pull too hard. You want to be gentle with it. There's that delicacy, high quality level rosin that's in there, and that took a lot of effort. It's like you want to respect it.
I feel that. So back to the storyline. Sky Mint, New Standard.
Yep.
And what was after New Standard?
Jars.
Jars.
Jars Cannabis.
Which jars?
Flint.
Okay.
So interesting insight on that opportunity. It was super cool because at this time, this was going to be Jar's 7th store. And I messaged them through Instagram. You got to have a different approach sometimes. I hadn't seen any job postings, but I wanted to be proactive instead of reactive. And I wanted to have a different approach. Because of my experience over there at Skymint, I actually messaged them and said, hey, my name's Austin Casares. I had the privilege of opening Skymint diagonal across the street. I'd love to go head-to-head with them. And they responded actually very quickly, sent me their direct contact for their HR, and I was interviewing within a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Straight up direct. That's literally like you said, proactive, not waiting for shit to come to you, but like going out and at least like trying to reach for it. You know what I'm saying? When you really got nothing to lose.
And that's just something that I tell people all the time too, and it's a story that I can frequently tell, because from there, it's just when you do things like everybody else, you're gonna be like everybody else, and it's almost like I stood out because I took a different angle, and that job, you may not see it posted, but like it costs money to post the job, you know what I mean? So it's like, why not save them the time and money before they post that job? So it's like, if you want something, go out there and get it, go out there, create it, and have a different angle.
Power of social media, right? It's a
Power of
tool.
social media.
So having all this, retail experience,
Yeah.
how do you feel, like retail versus sales? Like, what are your, likes and dislikes, and like, in that sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, the thing that I just like, I wouldn't even say it's like a dislike, but what I miss the most is just having my team. You know what I mean? Like I took a lot of sense and pride when I showed up, started the day. I would set the tone. I'd bring the energy. When I'm there for my team. It sounds kind of like, I don't know, insensitive, but like I'm not there for the customers. I'm there for my team.
Yeah.
And I'm about maximizing, their fullest potential. That goes as far as just caring about them as human beings, treating them as human beings, doing proper one-on-ones. I just miss like that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Really with like a retail setting, like the energy is everything. And having that opportunity to open some of these stores and start with what I considered and called like the founding mothers and fathers, there's a lot of sense of pride there. And, when you see the same faces and you as a customer go in, or anybody who's watching goes in and they frequent any store, seeing the same customer and they're saying welcome back, or seeing you and they're acknowledging you and they're hitting you with your name.
Yeah.
The last thing that like I as a customer or my staff like I ever wanted was, is this your first time? And that might be somebody's 10th time. Might not like sit right with them, It's like you want people to feel welcome. And right now where the competition is so high and heavy, that care and that personal touch and having the same staff, procuring and maintaining and just really taking care of who your team is from the very beginning. I think that's what makes like a successful store. So those are things that like I acknowledge, I appreciate. But how I transition from the retail to the sales is like, all right, now I may not have my own team, but these bud tenders are like my team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I got more teams, and now I just have to get them on FLOS. I may not have to get them on everything else, but it's my job to excite them about FLOS.
Yeah.
And educate them about where we're from and how we do things and our approach to this, why we started.
And and that's what I fuck with, because you prioritize that relationship, and I think that's the difference. Because right now, like the hot, not even like right now, I say probably like last month, but it was like, how important are vendor days? You know what I'm saying? And it's like depending on what you really value, like some people try to like catch the most foot traffic that they can get and just pass out free stuff, you know what I'm saying, to connect with the customers. But also there's the bud tenders too, and like that's what I want to talk to first. I want to get a lay of the land first. You know what I'm saying? What type of customers respond to this? What type of customers respond to that? So when I am and they are interested, I'm already got something curated because I'm the type of psycho. I didn't had 40 billion conversations before. I didn't have one in reality. You know what I'm saying? So I already got one kind of pre-made. But it's not even like a sense of like listening to respond. It's kind of just like anticipating like certain like types of people. You know what I'm saying? And then being ready to just be like. In my head, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, these people are fucking crazy. Like, half of that. And then also it's like, wow, like this is serious. Like we're going deep here, you know what I'm saying? And give them the attention, that they deserve. Because sometimes like if you just catch me chilling and not prepared, you gotta have a plan for stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
always gotta flex and adapt in this industry.
Yeah.
And like things can change in seconds and days and weeks with the state compliance, what they allow. I had opportunities to go through this when this was all curbside, when COVID spiked and you were limited with how many people you could bring indoors and like things were for real. You had to go out to people's cars, like that was another thing too, is like I'm approaching people's cars, like, and how do I do this respectfully? And they got a damaged product. There's just so much more to like how this whole industry's transitioned from people who waited 2 hours plus excited as hell because it was recreational, and now people wait 5 minutes to piss the shit.
No, I'm not gonna lie, because that's when I was working for the MICIA, Robin had wrote a letter to Governor Whitmer and like kind of like saying, hey, like we can't close down these cannabis companies during the pandemic. Like this is gonna be disastrous to how much money people put in. Like just closing for a week, like they can't afford that. So like at least let them do curbside. And like we would just drive around to certain members, and like they'd be like, yeah, this saved us. And then it would be like more popular because like is all you really got to do is just chill at home. You know what I'm saying? Go outside.
Right.
Like
times were different.
Yeah, but
people were buying weed.
Oh yeah.
We about to do a dab?
Hold on for a minute. Allegedly, if this thing can
Puffco, man.
If it wants?
I remember the first time.
Okay, there it is.
Puffco. You remember the first time you hit a Puffco? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I honestly was wild. I was like, whoa.
The cameraman was destroyed.
I was like, this was the cleanest dab I ever took in my life.
I was in heaven. I can't even lie. And I wanted one so bad. And I remember having the peak. The peak made me miserable.
The peak made you miserable.
It was the OG peaks where you had the cylinders, you had the ceramic bowls, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I heard those broke all the time, right?
That's why I was miserable. I had to replace them all the time. They cost like $30 a pack for like 3 of them. They would last like a couple weeks.
Nice.
So, I'm gonna let you hit that one. He got the blanket. Yeah,
Cameraman is cold.
My bad. If you want to close that window a little bit, I mean.
It is mid-January and
and it's about to get colder. Yeah. That's the terrible part.
Yeah, you gotta stay hot in the coldest month.
Yeah. So, in this industry, you've resume long as fuck, impressive as fuck, just like this
pinky,
this
right?
pinkies. What does it take to have, like, what are the components for longevity in this industry?
Cultivating new relationships, but taking care of your current ones. There's a fight for staying relevant out here, relevancy. And it's so hard, right? But there's so many different ways. And I think that's just where I love this industry. I think that's where I thrive, is, this new value creation the industry forever brings, within its packaging, its marketing, its media, social media. There's always something new, and somebody's always doing something different or something that hasn't been seen or done before. So there's this fight for like relevancy and just kind of always bringing the next thing or being so consistent that
Yeah.
that you are known for this or known for that, and really just taking care of people. I take a lot of pride in, just following up with people, showing my presence. If I open a door, really visiting their stores and getting to know their bud tenders and their bud tenders knowing my name, my face. So if that means hooking them up with some of our flour or some swag, sometimes I'll have lighters and stickers in my pockets, and I'll just walk up to someone and be like, lighter or sticker? And they're like, what? I'm like, lighter or sticker? Like, lighter. There you go. You know what I mean? Just have fun with people, engage them, but you've got to have presence, and you can't just grow good weed anymore. And I know that like sounds weird, but it's like there was a time where if you just grew good product or had a good product, it would just like move and you could get your price, but like you need a brand, and you need a following, and at the end of the day, like people gotta fuck with you. All
And
the
it's,
cool, all the clout.
and it's funny because like they like you saying like got to be in you, and you gotta like it got to be the energy and the engagement and kind of just like have a certain dialogue and stuff like that. But some people they do it in just creative marketing, and I don't knock it at all. I'm like, get it how you live. Like just because everybody's formula is a little different, it's still that part where it's more than good weed. You know what I'm saying? And I do like, I saw the ice. Have you seen the Icewear Vezo thing where it's like it's a pack of weed and it's a flip phone, and it's like
Oh no.
yeah, and it's like it has a speaker in it in the Mylar, and if you
that's
press a button,
crazy.
it plays a song.
No
It's like
way.
yeah, it's like a Nextel ringtone bag, like it's like a flip phone.
And it's got the sound and everything.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like those cards that like start playing the music when you open.
Exactly,
Wow, that's next level.
and like that's
Super creative though.
yeah,
Proud of that. It's like I'm gonna do this.
I think
And
that's
it
so
stands
cool.
out.
I think that's so cool. I can't even count. It's like it's so hard to hate. You know what I'm saying? Like we could call it cereal box weed, but like
And they're telling everybody about it.
yeah.
Pick this up at the store. Like that's effective marketing.
And then it's like how many people are just gonna do it just because like it's a good idea, like
Yeah.
just off the inspiration, like all right. But shouts out Vezo. The creativity in Detroit is fire.
I have to check that out.
If you could change one thing about this industry, what would it be?
The loyalty piece. There's no loyalty. It's too often, too frequent. This industry is made up of some of the most passionate people I've ever seen in my life. People who, you see their heart, and you see like their emotion, you see how bad they want things in this industry, and it's unfortunate. I think everybody's been burned once or twice in this space. It's like a damn miracle if you've been with the same company since you started. So really, just like that loyalty piece, and
Yeah.
too frequent. People are treated as disposable, and I don't really believe like that's the formula to longevity success. I think you have to build things with people, and that's where I'm extremely fortunate for Timmy Holton, the owner, the founder, our grower, FLOS Cannabis, and how he connected me and how he welcomed me, and being in a position, but being so selfless to allow me to work towards equity and ownership, and I had only known Timmy for a couple months, and I was literally like vetted and recommended to him. He gives me a call and says, I want you to be the face of my company, and I'm willing to offer you equity to work towards each year, just so you have that motivation factor. We're going out to parties, the Zion Olympics, things like that together, and he's referring to me as his partner. Man, I'd never been treated so well. You know what I mean? And so not only was I motivated in the equity piece, but just how Timmy's taking care of me and showing me loyalty when I've not really been treated as such.
And definitely shouts out to Timmy. I had the pleasure of meeting gang at Torch Lake, and it was with Slim too, and it was a good time. Definitely got to try some weed for the first time up there, and it was good. It was really good, and I appreciate some of the stuff that I was able to get at Nature's Remedy and at like Berkeley too. So snow cone,
Yeah.
2 pink guava, animal face, and the cheetah piss.
Yeah. Those pink guava is a real popular one for us. The nose on it's crazy. These guava flavors, like, super intriguing. We also have a rainbow guava. That one's only tested like 17-19%, but like the flavor expression on it's crazy. It's one of those that just the flavor translates and comes through just so consistent from start to finish. I like to say it's like got your back all 4 quarters. You know how some rolls and some flavors might quit on you at halftime or a quarter left. This one's got you maybe even to overtime.
I like it. So like, I think it was the snow cone. That one is one I throw in the bong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it kind of be messing up my day a little bit. Like, cause I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and listen to music for like 2 hours, smoke some weed a little bit, you know, like, and then like 8 minutes and I'm like, I'm too high. I took a couple too many hits, like, not used to it, but like, and that's kind of what, shouts out Happy Trees Takeover. My friend Chris, he was saying, he like the weed that you don't gotta, smoke, like get to the gram or like, the heart of the joint to get high,
Right.
like you feel it like the first couple hits,
Proper.
Yeah, and like with the bong, for me, I just like it because it just like you like I feel like you use your whole body like in the hit. Like I feel like my but also
Control
like
the hip more.
huh?
You can like control the hip more.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I think certain areas have just like different cultures and what they value. Like my upbringings, everybody was super competitive over like who could roll like the fattest blunt and who could take like the milkiest like bong rip, and then who could take like the milkiest dab, like the
We all
biggest
took our
boogers.
first
You know what
dab
I'm saying?
Too hot, man.
Oh
We
yeah,
all took our first dab too hot.
steaming.
It was like we thought that it was all off like that hard nail. We all thought it had to be red as fuck. And then we coughed like we've never coughed in our life. I had never been so high.
So if somebody, handed you 4 joints
Yeah.
and they were all FLOS,
Yep.
do you think you could like go in on a strain test just by the hit and tell which one it could be?
Yeah, I think I could even dry hit it.
Dry hit
honestly.
it?
I think I'd even dry hit it, like with my eyes closed, whatever, and then I'd be like, "This is Prodigy," or "This is our permanent marker," or "This is our Sharpies." This is Rainbow Belts, which we won second place High Times Cannabis Cup for, by the way. Rainbow Belts.
What year? Was it last year?
This year.
This
Oh, this last year.
2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
at
Yeah.
the
Okay.
award ceremony.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was being too analytical, but I was literally. I'm like, wait. There's only a couple days this year.
Those belts lovers, check out FLOS Rainbow Belts. It's also gone by Sahara Mist. Rainbow Belts. Rainbow Belts is the way.
So, you
Match burn. Matchbox 20.
man, you really used all of that one.
This one right here, I think, is our Royal Rumble Runts. So, it's right around the corner, right? It comes every year.
Hey,
I
no.
like to say that this one gets you over the ropes, so you'll be the last one standing. You know what I mean?
Get you over the rope, so you're the last one standing.
Royal Rumble Runs.
So would you say that this is like a hybrid sativa?
Hybrid, it's got that candy expression.
Okay.
That runs flavor and how it comes through. It's got that runts on the nose, runts on the structure, but that royalty.
You know, on the business side of things, from your point of view, what's an ideal partnership look like?
Transparency. Ideal partnership can be, between employees, ownership, bosses, management. That can be between me and the stores that we sell to. That can be between me and the bud tenders. Anything can be a partnership. If you invest time in it. You know what I mean? And you curate those relationships.
Yeah.
So it's just your approach on how much time you want to invest in those individuals or that store and that location, because you can look as that partnership as a whole with this company or the individual.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of wraps up my take. Any closing remarks? Any shout outs?
FLOS Cannabis, Kalkaska, Michigan. We're one of the companies where the owner is the grower, owner, founder, creator. His wife actually made our logo that you'll see on these bags here. I believe that we have just like this elegance presence. I believe that we've got, this classy, sophisticated, sexy. Some have even said Kardashian.
Ooh.
So we, in my eyes, we are our own competition. Right now, it's just a matter of remaining consistent with our brand. Some folks have said, like, your weed's phenomenal. It's one of the best I've smoked. But until you get packaging that's more attractive, and I know that the customer's going to ask questions on, like, I just can't carry your weed because they might be, like, pre-pack only or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In my eyes, like, I have to remind them, like, we will never be the cartoon, the AI, creation, the look that you are kind of seeing make up the industry right now. And I think that right now there's a lack for elegant brand presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a reason why FLOS Cannabis is successful right now. I think there's a reason why people are drawn to us. And I have to remind people that our name too is it's not FLOS, right? So if it was FLOS, that would be the dentist, and they'd be the ones promoting us first. Or good for your teeth, flavor that translates. Just joking. But FLOS Cannabis just really focused on growing good quality flavors and flavors that translate, and growing weed for the people. We hand trim. Timmy, his hand in everything that we do is one of the reasons why we're successful. It's one of the reasons why we're being acknowledged, and I would say we're a top shelf brand. It's his hand, it's how hard he goes in the trenches. He's with those plants every single day. He sets the tone, and that energy and that love and that end product, which we'll highlight here, and get to speak to, is it's phenomenal. It's really one of a kind. I really like to think it's about his caregiver flower and weed that looks like it was grown in somebody's basement that you were once given back in the day, that just gave you that wow factor. I'm really fortunate to represent Timmy Holton and FLOS Cannabis and continue the journey, and continue the fight for quality in Michigan, where we've worked so hard to get to this point. When things first started, not going to name the first few licenses under the newly regulated laws, but I remember when you could only buy their flower and everybody was so disappointed it was all 50, 60, and 8. We've come so far, now we just have to fight to maintain. So I'm out there showing love to some of our best quality growers out there. You got to show love to get love, but really I respect those who make up the quality and the standards that Michigan holds. And I think Michigan's got some of the best flower in the entire country.
That part.
What do you think of this guy?
Hold on.
How's she tasting? Man, I like getting cooked and just talking. This is fun, man.
All right. So, FLOS, and I want to, thank Austin and thank Timmy as well up there in Kalkaska. I definitely will have a part 2, and we're going to get the whole gang on there because, I got to, do right, show the brand justice. And, so around here in the Metro Detroit area, where can we find some FLOS?
Yeah. 315 North. Butter in Berkeley. King of Buds, Ferndale, Inkster, Roseville. Shout out King of Buds. They've been forever a supporter. That's honestly one of my favorite stores to shop.
Yeah.
You really great prices, and they really don't carry any bad flour in there. I'm a flour guy. I'm a flavor guy. So when I'm copping a bag, I'm just hoping that what I take home translates. And frequently, that's a spot too that I'll try out a new grower and just kind of see how their shit's smoking.
The great thing about living in Ferndale, I will say before, and it's like if I'm going up to 696 and I need to like get some weed, I'll go to like Nature's Remedy or the Cake House. But if I'm like about to hop on 9 Mile and then get on 75 and go down to Detroit, I'll go to King of Buds, and it's like access to quality is like so important. You know what I'm saying? Like I think, and it's like that room for education. But and that's what the owner's manual is for. Thank y'all for watching, and tune into the next one. It's probably gonna be around Black History Month, and yeah, peace.